Hello, everyone. My name is Jenks. I'm from Filecoin Foundation. Today, I'm very excited to talk about one of the most exciting projects at Filecoin. That is Retrieval market. I'll talk about CDN. What is a CDN? What is a Retrieval market? And then the incentive model, the roadmap of it, and how to follow the project. So what is a CDN? A CDN is a group of computers or servers distributed over geological areas that is closer to the user. The purpose is to serve the content closer to the user. Let's say if a user would like to watch some K-drama that is located in Korea and they're based in North America, it could take up to 3 seconds for the content to be loaded. And we do not have patience these days to wait for that. The solution is to have a content delivery network or content distribution network to serve the content a little bit closer to the user so you get better performance. The business side of the CDN is huge. As you can see, in 2020, the size of the CDN network is 18 billion. And then in 2030, it will grow to 95 billion. That is a 23% growth every year. Who are the biggest player for CDN technology? There is Akamai, Amazon, Avid Cloud, CDN 7.7, and also Cloudflare. Verizon also have their CDN solution called Edgecast. There are a few challenges in building a CDN. There are some characters that CDN will need to have. A, efficiency. The CDN needs to be effective in loading pages faster than the origin server. So people can enjoy their websites, make purchases online very quickly. CDN should handle more traffic. It needs to be secure. And also, it needs to prevent attacks like DDoS attack and some other forms of attacks to protect the origin server. CDN needs to be available. It needs to make content more available for everyone to consume. So it needs to handle high traffic and also being able to be fault tolerant. We do not want CDNs to be down. And we probably have heard of Facebook outage before. When Cloudflare went down, a lot of big platforms stopped working. And we cannot live without internet these days. The last thing is optimization. The CDN should reduce cost of serving content cheaper than actually having all those centralized servers, origin servers everywhere in the world. So currently, the CDN design is very centralized, and that presents a problem, like I mentioned before, when certain platforms went down, half of the internet went down. The solution is to build a decentralized CDN network. That's exactly what we're trying to do at Filecoin. But before I go into Retrieval market, I would like to talk about how things work at Filecoin to store the file, but also to retrieve the file. So right now, if you would like to store something on Filecoin network, the storage client, the person who wants to store the file, will need to make a deal with storage provider. And when the deal is successful, the storage client will send the content to storage provider, either via internet or via sneakernet. So physically sending hard drive over there to get stored. From that point on, the storage provider will need to provide cryptographic proof to the network to get reward from the network. That's how mining works, or storage providing, we call it here. To get the file out, it is a little bit like putting things in freezer, but also taking it out. If we have something frozen, we'll need to defrost it for a little bit before we can serve it. And right now, the retrieval deals works like that. So to get the content back from the network, you'll need to make a deal. And the storage provider will act as a retrieval provider and serve the content to you via IPFS or directly. That doesn't work in the modern world because to the consumers because it's too slow. That is why we're building Retrieval market. Retrieval market is a decentralized network that we're trying to start. And it's not just one solution, it's a few solutions together. It provides, hopefully, a highly performant reliable, secure, but also with incentive crypto economic behind it for the longevity of the network. Let's take a look at a very high-level diagram of how retrieval market works. This is very simplified, but it still gives you some idea of how each role works in the network. So we have content publisher, who are clients who wants to store the files, and then the storage providers who takes deals and store them. The middleman is the Filecoin market, which is the subsystem for Lotus, or now getting replaced by a service called Boost, which Brenda will talk about later. Then these are the two roles that we already know, right? Storage provider and then content publisher, which are clients. There are three new roles that is going to be introduced with Filecoin retrieval market. One is indexer, index provider. Longfei talked a little bit about that. Index provider would tap into the market service and also storage provider, and it will scan and index or know which provider has what content. From this, the retrieval provider, who will get the data from storage provider, will use this service to serve a retrieval client, which are softwares that hopefully live on end-user devices to get the data from the decentralized network. There is an ocean to boil here for this project. Therefore, we're not doing this alone. There are 10 grants in process. There are 15 teams involved in building and 81 contributors right now. We have not done it all by Protocol Labs or Filecoin teams alone. We have invited our community team members to join. So the incentive models, I think everyone is interested in how, if I run a retrieval node or if I help with the Cdn network, how would I get incentivized for that? It is a very tricky question because the retrieval market, like a Cdn, happens, there's a lot of transaction happens very fast. And with the existing blockchain that we have, the speed is not enough. But we hope to build on the side or on top of a Filecoin virtual machine to enable such a fast transaction. But getting people to pay for this service is also tricky. So based on few scenarios, the retrieval market actually has a few solutions. A, if the retrieval client pays it directly, then there's two teams working on it. One is Magma, and the other one is called Mayer. Together, they hope to provide a solution that the retrieval client pays for use of the Cdn network. If the retrieval client or the end user does not pay for it and it comes from somewhere else, then there are two solutions based on whether you need a validator or not. If you don't need validator, it is the Saturn project that is working on it. Longfei talked about that a little bit earlier as well. If there is a validator network involved, there will be Titan mentioned and a few other projects involved. It is a huge undertaking, therefore it will take some time. These are the roadmap of high-level roadmap of retrieval market. In Q2 2020, the retrieval of node is running in a few marketplaces. One of them is Saturn, which is launched already. In Q3 2020, we should see performance improvement in different markets for retrieval network. And in Q4, the crypto economics hopefully will be finalized and given to everyone. And in Q2, retrieval market will be integrating to FEM, which is a Filecoin virtual machine.